Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Office Bloke Daz.
Office Bloke Aidan.
Here we are on Sports Edition. If sports is your thing, you know what to do. Leave us a like and subscribe, please. Does help. We do appreciate it. The LA Olympics. This is where it's going to get real, innit? They know how to do it. Anywhere knows how to do it as well. It's going to be LA.
They've done it. They've had it before. What year was it?
84, was it? 84 LA?
Something. It was around that time anyway, yeah. But it's
remember.
coming like a thing that no one really wants to host the Olympics, though, do they? Because it costs just too much money nowadays.
Yeah, but the USA, for them, it's like dropping the ocean in it, sort of thing. They've got the infrastructure, they've got it right, they've got the weather, they've got everything going for it.
Was it any good when it was in Atlanta? Because I don't really know.
Yeah. They've had a few there. They've had a few places, haven't they, where they've had the Olympics there. But LA, I think, is just made for the Olympics, I think. But this is LA's 2028 Olympic Stadium strategy to save billions. Actually, our son is really seriously thinking about getting in training for the Olympics 2028.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so he reckons his timings at the moment is a little bit out, but he reckons with the training he could get into the timings.
Swimming.
To get into swimming, yeah, for the 10k swim.
Open water.
Yeah. But anyway, let's see how he does with that as well. LA's 2028 Olympic Stadium strategy to save billions. Let's see.
1984 marked LA's second attempt at
84.
hosting the Olympic Games. But this wasn't just any Olympics. For the first time in history, it actually turned a profit, a feat that no other host city has matched since. So how did LA pull off this remarkable achievement? And what lessons from 1984 are being applied as Los Angeles prepares to host the 2028 Games? Today we dive into the past and explore how the City of Angels plans to once again use its existing infrastructure to turn the Olympics into a winning formula. The Olympics are often hailed as the pinnacle of international sports, but for many host cities, the financial aftermath is less than golden. The costs associated with hosting the Olympics have skyrocketed over the years, leading a legacy of debt and economic challenges that many cities struggle to overcome. A prime example is the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, which were delayed until 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This postponement alone added an estimated $3 billion to the overall costs. And
How?
That's mental.
How?
Well, maybe they're... I don't know.
It's a lot of bloody money to sort of like to run over by just for a delay,
Yeah.
right? And the athletes being there.
I know.
Yeah.
on top of this, with empty stadiums and restricted tourism, Japan's economy took a hit of approximately $1.3 billion. While the pandemic exacerbated these issues, it wasn't the sole cause of financial trouble. The truth is, Olympic Games have been financially challenging for decades. Research from Oxford reveals that since 1960, not a single Olympic Games has stayed within its original budget. On average, costs exceed estimates by 172%, making the Olympics one of the most
Beijing
financially risky mega projects. The 2012 London Summer Games, for instance, started off with a budget of $5 billion, but ultimately cost $18 billion. The 2014 Sochi Winter Games, the most expensive in history, saw costs explode from $10.3 billion to over $51 billion.
How can the estimate be so far out? I get it.
Every time as well. Actually, they're learning from the last one.
But that's a mega difference. 51 billion from 10
51
billion.
billion is mental. How is it?
People were sitting down there and running these numbers and going, yeah, it costs us that, we've got this, and you put everything down and you go, yeah, 10 billion. And you go, if you allow for an allowance, okay, let's do a percentage allowance, let's go at 12 billion for a 20% allowance. No, it comes to 51 billion.
They're just missing that much stuff out.
Well, I get these, once you start building and all that kind of stuff, I get these increasing costs and stuff like that, which with inflation and everything that may go up, but that should be in your budget. To budget 10 billion and come in at 51 billion, that's ridiculous.
But the financial strain
Winter
doesn't
Olympics as
end
well.
with budget overruns. Generating enough revenue to cover these enormous expenses is another significant challenge. Beijing, for example, spent $40 billion on the 2008 Olympics but earned only $3.6 billion in return. London's 2012 Games saw $18 billion in spending and just $5.2 billion in revenue. Beyond the immediate
So what's the point of doing it then? Why would you want to do
Yeah,
it?
you do it recognition for for your country,
And
the
then
host country, and tourism and all that kind of stuff. And maybe more, I don't know. But what I don't understand is why is it costing Beijing, a major capital city of the world, where they've got Chinese, where labour in China is very cheap to do, and the cost of infrastructure is quite cheap to do. They build these cities in like a few days, don't they? Got these ghost towns with nothing going on.
Yeah, but I guess London
It's-
already had all that stuff
Yeah,
built.
well, Beijing had the Bird's Nest Stadium and all that, didn't they? Sort of thing. Don't know what that
Actually, to be fair,
was that
didn't
built-
we,
was Bird's
didn't
Nest
we
Stadium
build the
built
London
for
Stadium
2008?
for the Olympics?
Did we build a stadium?
You know
for the
West Ham
Olympics?
Stadium?
Yeah.
No, that was built for the Olympics.
Yeah,
So
it wasn't. I think Bird's Nest was built for the 2008 Beijing Games, but 40 billion to 18 billion, when costed more expensive to do in the UK than what they are in China. Crazy.
Costs and revenues, the long-term economic benefits promised by Olympic organizers often fail to materialize. While host cities are assured of job creation and tourism boosts, these benefits are frequently overstated. Many of the jobs created are temporary, and the anticipated surge in tourism doesn't always pan out. In fact, tourism can actually decline from averages in the years following the Olympics. Additionally, the infrastructure improvements that are supposed to be lasting legacies often become financial burdens due to the high cost of maintenance, especially for facilities built for niche sports that see little use after the games. And this is where Los Angeles
could be used
comes
for
in.
so many
The
things.
1984 Summer Olympics in LA result in a $200+ million operating surplus, an outcome almost unheard of in modern
cool.
Olympic history. LA minimized costs by using existing venues and securing key corporate sponsorships. This approach led to the financial success and aimed to set a new standard for hosting the Olympics. And many believe LA's success in 1984 is a key reason for why the city is well prepared for the 2028 games. With existing infrastructure and a history of
Is that the
successful
logo?
hosting, LA doesn't need to build much to ensure another potentially profitable and well-run event. LA organizers say they can host the 2028 games with a budget of $6.88 billion. Will they be able to stay true to it? Probably not, but there are some compelling reasons to think why they may be close. Generally, building up Olympic-specific infrastructure like stadiums can swallow up nearly half of the entire budget, if not more. But LA's existing sports infrastructure is second to none and will play a crucial role. Here's the plan as of 2024. Crypto.com Arena in downtown LA, home to the Lakers, Kings, and Sparks, will host gymnastics events. SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, the home of the Rams and Chargers, will be the venue for swimming. It's expected to hold 38,000 spectators, which would make it the largest swimming.
That would
Wow.
be such a
Wow.
I would have thought it would be used for something else than swimming.
What, the athletics?
Because
and
swimming
things
is
like
normally like a small arena, isn't it?
that? Yeah, but look at that though. Look at how that's going to look. That's going to be mental.
And
You
to
get
be fair,
at least you get tickets
You
for
can
that,
kind of see
probably.
like swimming no matter where you are in a stadium as well.
Yeah, you better probably watch some swimming on the TV though.
Why?
You know, you're not really seeing much. You're just seeing all the splashing. You can't even see the guy.
Nah,
With the
you
TV,
can't,
you got
you
the
can't.
underwater cameras and
Nah,
everything.
you
Tumble turns, the whole lot. Yeah, but that's going to look mint.
Venue in Olympic history. The Intuit Dome, the soon-to-be-completed Los Angeles Clippers arena, will host all basketball events. Track and field competitions will take place at LA Memorial Coliseum, which is the only stadium to host these events in 3 different Olympics. Parts of the opening and closing ceremonies will be held at both the Coliseum and SoFi Stadium. Diving will be held at the John C. Argue Swim Stadium, which also hosted aquatic events for the 1932 Olympics. Archery, BMX racing, freestyle cycling, and
Fucking stadiums are massive, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah,
Compared to the city.
yeah.
skateboarding will take place at the Sepulveda Basin Recreation Center, while the Long Beach Sports Park will host other swimming events. And lastly, equestrian events will be held at the Galway Downs in Temecula. As a side note, canoe slalom and
Mexico.
softball events will be held in Oklahoma City, where existing venues can meet the demand. But the real major cost where the city may run into the most issues is in upgrading the transportation
Where's the
infrastructure.
skateboarding at?
The 28 by 28
The breakdancing.
initiative, launched by former LA mayor, aims to complete 28 infrastructure projects in Los Angeles before the 2028 Olympics. Many of these projects were already planned, but are now being fast-tracked. In 2024, Mayor Karen Bass announced the goal of making the Olympics car-free by promoting public transit and remote work to reduce congestion. Although, as everyone watching this probably realizes, the Olympics will be far from car-free. Because if there's one thing that LA knows, it's that cars and traffic are as much a part of the city as palm trees and sunshine. Funding for these transit projects come from Measure R and M, tax increases approved by voters in 2008 and 2016, supposedly completely unrelated to the Olympics. To meet the demand of the games, LA 28 organizers estimate an additional 2,700 buses will be needed, doubling Metro's current fleet. Metro is seeking federal grants and planning to
That's just
resell
making
the
the traffic
buses
worse.
post-Olympics to offset costs, which are estimated between $700 million and $1 billion. Given all these costs, it's very important that the organizers for the LA 28 Olympics try their absolute best to generate as much revenue as possible. But Who is actually in charge of running the show? The LA 28 Games are independently operated by a privately funded non-profit organization, spearheaded by Casey Wasserman. Globally, the International Olympic Committee, a Swiss-based non-profit, oversees every aspect of the Olympics, no matter where they're held. Broadcasting rights are usually the largest source of revenue for the Olympic Games. This money comes from selling the rights to televise the Games to broadcasters around the world. Networks like NBC in the US pay billions for exclusive rights, as the Olympics attract massive global viewership. For the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, it's estimated that broadcasting rights accounted for nearly 73% of total revenue. Corporate sponsorships are the second largest revenue stream. This includes money from both the global Olympic sponsors and domestic sponsors specific to the host country. Revenue from ticket sales is significant, but tends to be smaller than broadcasting and sponsorships. This would include tickets to various events, opening and closing ceremonies, and other Olympic-related activities. Outside of this, a smaller portion of the revenue can come from things like licensing and merchandise, as well as grants and donations.
Who's buying?
And just in case of major issues like natural disasters or even poor turnout, the LA 28 group will purchase significant insurance packages. All of this with the goal of minimizing the negative financial effects on LA and the rest of the US. After the Los Angeles 1984 Olympics were completed, the $200+ million of surplus money was funneled into the LA 84 Foundation. This foundation was set up to assist youth sports programs in the area, and has supposedly been doing so for the past few decades. While LA does have a significant sports infrastructure advantage, it remains to be seen if the 28 Olympics can be profitable or even close to profitable. Hopefully the events will have little to no effect on taxpayers, but that may be wishful thinking. I really appreciate you watching the video and ask that you please provide some feedback.
I was trying to look at what the logo was, and they showed me about 12 different logos.
I think it's what it is. I think it's a revolving logo, isn't it? Sort of like it keeps changing. But it's going to be LA. The USA know how to host events. They do. You know what I mean? To be fair, the last few Olympics have been all right. They've not been bad.
Well, I mean, they've lost a lot of revenue.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't get why.
Well, not like the loss of like.
I get when
they
you
didn't
look
get
at
the revenue, they didn't get the profit back.
Things like this should always be hosted by cities that don't have to build anything. That the infrastructure's already there. You know, I get sort of like spreading it around and putting it around different cities around the world and all that, but it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't matter. You just put it into where it is, where the infrastructure is, and let cities make money. If you want it, you know, obviously you're going to put the infrastructure in. Whoever's paying for it, as long as it's not the local taxpayer that's paying for it, and it's coming out of some kind of fund that's already sort of like established, then yeah, all good, all good and well. But I mean, you very rarely see like the Olympics held in like Africa, or I know we saw the World Cup held in South Africa.
Yeah.
But nobody's like constants like that, where if they're going to spread it around, the Olympic Committee, surely the Olympic Committee have got like a fund like they do in the World Cup with football, like FIFA.
Well, I bet they're stacked, mate, because they don't really pay the athletes that much. No, they don't pay the athletes at all.
Just like paying them this year, wasn't it?
I thought it was the country that paid them.
It could be. I don't know who pays, but it's. But I imagine if the Olympic Committee or the IOC and things like that, I'm sure they've got some kind of funds that they put towards hosting, and they're the ones that should benefit from the payments of it all. And collecting, and then the tourism money goes into where the country of destination is. But it's LA's 2028 Olympics are going to be mint. Just look at the stadiums that they're using. That swimming, Sofa Stadium with the swimming is going to be like.
Yeah, that'll be.
It's going to be off the charts. Yeah, so that's going to be that'd be really good because the atmosphere in there. Swimming. Normally, when you see these swimming arenas, what do they call them? Like, is there a name for like a swimming arena? They just call it a swimming arena. Aquatic centre. Yeah. Let's say.
Yeah, that's actually what it is.
Yeah. So normally the atmosphere is quite good, especially for the home nations.
Yeah.
And the USA have got some decent swimmers, so that the atmosphere in there is going to be buzzing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting now. Yeah, anyway,
Excited.
enjoyed it. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the next one.
Cheers.
Cheers.